The chamber fell silent as Ambassador Chen placed the human delegation's datapad on the crystalline table. No speech, no protest, no dramatic exit. She simply stood, nodded once to the assembled representatives of 47 species, and walked toward the exit. Her team followed without a word. High Chancellor Vexthor of the Zentari Empire watched them go, his trio of eyes blinking in satisfaction. Finally, the humans had accepted their place. For 300 cycles they had argued, pleaded, and warned. Now they were silent. Defeated. The motion passes, Vexthor announced, his mandibles clicking with pleasure. Humanity's request for defensive fortifications along the outer rim is denied. Their petition for increased patrol routes is rejected. The resources will be allocated to more civilized pursuits. The Kaldreth representative, Ambassador Serene, felt a twinge of unease. She had studied humans extensively. They were emotional, yes, but never passive, never silent. In her 40 years of diplomatic service, she had learned that when humans stopped talking, they started doing. High Chancellor, she began, her crystalline voice cautious. Perhaps we should reconsider. The matter is closed, Vexthor interrupted. Humanity has been demanding military support for their frontier colonies for far too long. Let them learn that the Council's resources are not theirs to command. Ambassador Serene watched the empty doorway where the humans had departed. Something was wrong, she was right. Within one solar cycle, every human representative withdrew from council stations. Their embassies closed. Their trade routes, which had carried supplies to 70% of council worlds, went silent. The humans hadn't just left the council. They had left the council to its fate. At first, the council members celebrated. Good riddance, many said. They were always too demanding, too aggressive, too human. Then the Ravagers came. They struck from the darkness between stars as they always had, but this time there was no advance warning. The early detection network humanity had maintained at their own expense was gone. The rapid response teams that had somehow always arrived just in time were nowhere to be found. The intelligence network that had predicted Ravager movements with uncanny accuracy had vanished with the humans. The Zentarii colony of Praxis fell in 6 hours. The Kaldreth mining stations in the Hesperus cluster were reduced to debris in less than a day. The Ravagers swept through council space like a tide of destruction, and the council's forces crumbled before them. High Chancellor Vexthor finally understood his mistake when his homeworld's outer defense stations began to fail. He sent urgent communications to Earth, to Mars, to Europa Station. He offered treaties, trade agreements, territorial concessions. He received no response. Ambassador Serene managed to reach a human contact, a former diplomatic liaison named Captain Martinez, now commanding a colony defense fleet deep in human space. Please, she begged, her voice breaking through the translator. We were wrong. We need your help. The Ravagers are destroying you, Martinez finished, her voice flat. Yes, we know. We've been tracking them. Then why haven't you responded? Why haven't you helped? There was a long pause. When Martinez spoke again, her words were measured cold. For 300 years we warned you. We told you the Ravagers were massing in the dark zones. We showed you our intelligence. We begged for resources to fortify the rim. Do you know what you called us? Warmongers paranoid. Primitives playing with weapons we didn't understand. We were wrong. You voted against us 73 times, Martinez continued. 73 motions to strengthen defenses. 73 warnings ignored. We lost 14 colonies to Ravager raids while we waited for council support that never came. We buried 6 million people who died because you wouldn't spare the resources for unnecessary military expenditure. Serene's crystalline form flickered with distress. What do you want? Reparations? Territory? Name your price. We don't want anything from you, Martinez replied. We're done. You made it clear that humanity's concerns didn't matter, that our dead didn't matter. So we walked away. We fortified our own space. We protect our own people. The council chose to stand alone. Now you can fall alone, but we'll be destroyed. Yes, Martinez said quietly. You will. Just like you let us be destroyed when we needed you. The only difference is that we tried to save you first. The transmission ended. Ambassador Serene stood in the ruins of the council chambers, watching through the viewport as another station exploded in the distance. Around her, the greatest civilizations in the galaxy scrambled desperately, their fleets outmatched, their defenses crumbling. The humans had built redundancies into everything they touched. Logistics networks, early warning systems, rapid response protocols. Only now, in their absence, did the Council realize that humanity hadn't just been participating in galactic civilization. They had been holding it together. High Chancellor. Vexthor's final transmission was intercepted by a human monitoring station. He was apologizing, begging, offering anything and everything. The message was filed and archived. No response was sent. 52 years later, the Ravager War finally ended. The Council had been reduced to 15 member species, their territories a fraction of what they once controlled. The humans behind their fortified borders had thrived. Their space had expanded. Their colonies flourished. They had even repelled 3 major Ravager incursions without losing a single world. When the surviving Council members finally petitioned for readmission to human trade routes, for humanitarian aid, for a chance to rebuild, they received a simple message. Your request is denied. Resources will be allocated to more civilized pursuits. The words were their own, sent back across the void like an echo of their arrogance. Humanity had learned an ancient lesson that the Council never understood. Sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when to walk away. And sometimes, the price of dismissing those who warned you is paid in the darkness between stars, where no one can hear you beg for help that will never come.